I've worked a lot of jobs in my life, but nothing ever came close to the fear, exhaustion, and helplessness I felt during my time working at Walmart. When people joke about crazy Walmart stories, they usually mean odd customers or funny encounters. What I experienced was something else entirely, something that still makes my stomach turn when I think about it. Back then, the Walmart I worked at was open 24 hours. This was before COVID changed everything. I worked overnight shifts because it was the only way I could balance my life. I had a young child whose school schedule depended on me being available in the mornings and afternoons. So every night, without fail, I worked from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. During the day, I barely slept. I'd come home exhausted, rest for a few hours, take care of my son, and on some days, head to my second job just to make sure rent was paid. I was constantly running on fumes. That period of my life wasn't a good one, but I didn't have a choice. You do what you have to do when someone depends on you. The Walmart itself was massive, a full supercenter, not just a grocery store. It was one of the only places open all night in the area, which meant we attracted every kind of person imaginable. When I arrived around 10 p.m. on that cold winter night, the store was still busy. Late-night shoppers wandered the aisles, families grabbed groceries, and people killed time because they had nowhere else to go. But as the hours passed, the atmosphere changed. By the time it hit 1 o'clock or 2 a.m., the store felt different, quiet, hollow, and heavy. Only self-checkout registers were open, run by a single exhausted cashier. A few stock workers, including myself, were scattered across the floor. Warehouse workers stayed hidden in the back, and the night manager roamed occasionally, mostly glued to his office. That's when the weird ones came out. I was stocking cereal that night, focused on my work, trying to move quickly so I could finish and rotate to another aisle. That's when I noticed a man walk past the end of the aisle. A second later, he stepped back into view and just stopped. He stood there, staring down at me. When I looked up, he quickly pretended to study the cereal boxes. He had curly hair, and I couldn't place his ethnicity. What stood out was the large black backpack on his back, bulging like it was overstuffed with something heavy. He lingered awkwardly, pretending to look at granola bars before slowly approaching me. "Hey," he said. "Do you know where the bread is?" I pointed him in the right direction. He thanked me and walked away, his gait strange, almost a noticeable waddle. Out of sight, out of mind, or so I thought. I stayed in the cereal aisle for a while longer, and that's when I realized something was wrong. Every few minutes, I caught movement out of the corner of my eye. The same man would slowly pass by the aisle, glancing down toward me each time. He wasn't holding anything. He never bought bread. He just walked. Back and forth. I started working faster, my anxiety rising. As soon as I finished the aisle, I pushed my empty U-boat back to the warehouse and deliberately grabbed another one meant for an aisle far away. This time, I chose the chips aisle, thinking there was no way he'd still be around. I was wrong. About 45 minutes after our first interaction, I was rotating bags of chips when I felt that familiar presence. I looked up, and there he was, standing at the end of the aisle, staring again. Still holding nothing. Still wearing the backpack. He finally approached me. I tried to ignore him until he spoke. I don't remember his exact words, but he told me he'd been checking me out and couldn't resist telling me how beautiful I was. I fake laughed, thanked him politely, and tried to shut it down. He didn't stop. He started asking personal questions, where I was from, if I lived nearby. I lied about everything. His breath was foul, his eyes unfocused, and something about him felt deeply wrong. Then he asked for my number. I told him I was seeing someone. He smiled and said, "We can just be friends." Just to get him to leave, I gave him a fake number and told him I wasn't allowed to talk while working. He made a creepy comment and walked away, clearly proud of himself. Hours passed. Time dragged. I just wanted to go home. Then my walkie-talkie crackled. Another stalker whispered, "There's some creepy-looking guy asking for you." My heart dropped. I told her to say I'd left and immediately ran to the employee lounge, planning to hide for a while. I barely had time to sit down before the double doors swung open. It was him. His face twisted with anger. "You gave me a fake number," he yelled. Before I could react, he pulled his backpack off and slammed it onto the table beside me. He began unzipping it slowly, never breaking eye contact. That was it. I ran. He tried to grab my arm but missed. I sprinted through the store, my heart pounding, hearing his footsteps behind me. I ran out the front doors and straight to my car. I looked back just in time to see him exit the store, scanning the parking lot. But I was already driving away. I called the night manager and told him everything. He tried to tell me I couldn't leave, we were short-staffed. I told him I wasn't coming back that night. Eventually, he said he'd call the police and review the footage. I came back the next night. The police had been notified. The man was never found. I still don't know what was in that backpack. And I don't want to. The second time Walmart almost ruined my life. When I was 14, there was a Walmart within walking distance of my house, connected to a dying mall. I'd go there to buy cheap clothes, sometimes with friends, sometimes alone. One night, I walked there wearing my AirPods, completely tuned out from the world. I was browsing jeans when I noticed a man talking beside me. I took out an AirPod. "Yes?" I asked. He smiled. He was short, gray-haired, around 50 years old. He said his daughter wore the same jeans. That should have been the end. It wasn't. He kept talking. Asked my age. 14. His response chilled me. "What a great age," he said. So mature, but still so young. My skin crawled. He asked my name. I gave it. He said it was his favorite girl's name. He asked what school I went to. I lied. He pushed. "I've seen you here before." I walked away. At the register, I hurried through checkout and entered the mall. While inside Victoria's Secret, I saw him sitting on a bench outside, waiting. I left the store and sped up. He followed. I called my mom, panicking. She told me to stay inside the store with people. He stood outside the entrance and whispered my name. I told the cashier he was following me. Other customers noticed. The man walked away. Strangers waited with me until my mom arrived. I never went back alone again. The final Walmart nightmare. My last Walmart job nearly got me killed. I was 24, working my second job to afford a new apartment. One day, while walking the floor, someone tapped my back. It was my ex-girlfriend, Casey. She shouldn't have known where I worked. Our relationship had ended badly, obsessive behavior, harassment, blocked numbers. Seeing her there terrified me. She refused to leave. That night, after my shift, I went home. My bedroom door was open. The front door was unlocked. The spare key was gone. The biggest knife in the kitchen was missing. Casey was in my bedroom. She'd broken in. When I slammed the door shut, she screamed and tried to force it open. My roommate called the police. She was arrested. She went to prison. Walmart was the worst job I ever had. Not because of the pay. Not because of the hours. But because of the people. And because sometimes, danger doesn't wait in dark alleys. It waits under fluorescent lights, between aisles you thought were safe. And sometimes, it follows you home.